Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wanderlust Whispers, the podcast that brings the world to your ears. I'm your host, Andrew.
And I'm Sophia. It's great to be back in the studio.
It's great to have you back, Sophia. And you're looking refreshed, relaxed, and wonderfully sun-kissed. You've just gotten back from a pretty big trip, haven't you?
I have. My family and I spent 2 incredible weeks exploring Malaysia. It was everything I hoped for and more. The sights, the sounds, the food. Oh, the food, Andrew.
Okay, I'm already jealous. We are definitely dedicating an entire segment to the food later. But for today, I want to get the full travel diary experience. I have so many questions, and I know our listeners do too. So let's start with a really important one, especially for our solo and female travelers. How did you feel about safety in Malaysia?
That's a fantastic place to start, and something I was thinking about a lot before I went. I can honestly say I felt remarkably safe throughout the entire trip. We spent time in bustling cities like Kuala Lumpur and more remote areas, and I never once felt uncomfortable or on edge.
That's really reassuring to hear. What was it about the country that made you feel that way?
I think it's a combination of things. First, the people are genuinely warm and friendly. There's a real culture of hospitality. People are happy to help you if you look lost, and they're very welcoming to tourists. Secondly, it's a majority Muslim country, so there's a culture of respect and modesty that I think contributes to a general feeling of order and safety.
Right, so just being mindful of local customs, like dressing a bit more conservatively when visiting temples or mosques, is a good idea?
Absolutely. It's about being respectful. But beyond that, the usual travel smarts apply. You know, keep an eye on your belongings in crowded places, don't walk alone in unlit areas late at night, the same common sense you'd use in any major city around the world. But overall, for any women listening and wondering, I would wholeheartedly recommend it as a safe and wonderful destination.
Fantastic. Okay, now that we've covered that, let's get to the juicy stuff, the best places. Out of everything you saw, what were the absolute highlights, the places you're still dreaming about?
Oh, this is tough. It's like picking a favorite child. But if I had to choose, I'd say there were 3 standout experiences. First, the island of Penang.
I've heard amazing things about Penang. The food, right?
The food is out of this world, but it's also the atmosphere of Georgetown, its capital. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and you can just wander for hours through these charming streets with colonial architecture, incredible street art, and little hidden temples. It has such a unique vibe, a mix of Chinese, Malay, and Indian cultures.
That sounds incredible. What's number 2 on the list?
For a complete change of pace, the Cameron Highlands, after the heat of the coast, you drive up into these rolling green hills and the temperature drops. It's covered in these vast, stunningly beautiful tea plantations. We took a tour of a plantation, learned how tea is made, and just sat sipping the freshest tea I've ever had while looking out at this endless green landscape. It was so serene.
Wow, a literal breath of fresh air. And the third highlight?
It has to be Kuala Lumpur itself. I know big cities aren't for everyone, but it's so dynamic. Seeing the iconic Petronas Towers lit up at night is just breathtaking. They are truly magnificent. And then you have the Batu Caves just outside the city with that giant golden statue and the colorful steps leading up to the temple inside the cave. It's such a powerful and memorable sight.
You're painting such a vivid picture. Okay, so you mentioned the heat. Let's talk about the weather. I'm guessing it was hot.
Hot and humid. There's no escaping it. As soon as you step outside, you feel this blanket of warmth and moisture. You have to be prepared to sweat. But the funny thing is, you get used to it pretty quickly.
And what about rain? Did you get caught in any tropical downpours?
Oh, yes. Almost every afternoon, like clockwork, the clouds would roll in for about an hour. It wasn't a miserable all-day drizzle. It was an intense, dramatic downpour that was actually quite refreshing. It cools everything down. We learn to plan our days around it, do our outdoor exploring in the morning, and plan for an indoor activity like a museum or a coffee break in the late afternoon.
That's a great tip. So, based on that, when would you say is the absolute best time to visit Malaysia?
Well, it's a bit complex because the country has two different monsoon seasons affecting different coasts. We visited the West Coast, which includes places like Penang and Langkawi. For that side of the peninsula, the best time is generally from December to March. It's considered the dry season, so you get less rain and more sunshine.
Okay, December to March for the West Coast. What about the East Coast, known for its beautiful islands like the Perhentians?
For the East Coast, it's the opposite. Their monsoon is during our winter, so the best time to go there is from about April to September. So really, you can visit Malaysia any time of year. You just have to pick the right coast for the season.
That makes sense. It's a year-round destination if you plan it right. Finally, I want to ask about traveling there as a family. You had your kids with you. What are your top tips for families who are thinking of making the trip?
Oh, it's a brilliant destination for families. My first and most important tip is about food. Malaysian food is incredible, but a lot of it can be spicy. My kids aren't big on spice, so we learned to say tidak pedas, which means not spicy. Most vendors and restaurants were happy to make a milder version for us.
Tidak pedas. Got it. That's a golden tip right there. What else?
Second, stay hydrated. With the heat and humidity, it's so important to drink water constantly. We carried reusable water bottles everywhere. Also, make use of ride-sharing apps like Grab. It's incredibly affordable and so much easier than haggling with taxis, especially when you have tired kids with you.
Good practical advice.
And my last tip would be to pace yourselves. Don't try to cram too much into one day. The heat can be draining for little ones. Plan a main activity for the morning, and then in the afternoon, maybe find a hotel with a pool. A quick swim is the perfect way to reset and cool down before heading out for dinner.
Sophia, this has been absolutely fantastic. You've covered safety, highlights, weather, timing, and family tips. You've basically given us the ultimate guide to planning a trip to Malaysia. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
It was my absolute pleasure, Andrew. It was an unforgettable trip, and I hope we've inspired a few people to add it to their travel list.
I have no doubt you have. To all our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in to Wanderlust Whispers. We hope this has sparked your curiosity. Join us next week for another adventure. Until then, keep exploring.